One thing that I really try to stress in this book is how do you hold on to the pieces of your own identity outside of caregiving while you're living this experience? Because
Perfect.
as you said, you will not be a caregiver forever. And what's left when that care situation is over? So there are people who, I have a section of this book that deals with grief, and there are people who feel real grief at the loss of the caregiver role because they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. How do I provide my value? I have all this love. Where does it go? I have all this information. Where does it go? And so I would say, how can you preserve your identity? And there are great tips in the book from a therapist on how to do this, how to prioritize places in your life that you can give attention to, and how do you do that? But, what are the different aspects of your identity before care, if you can remember the time? Because as I said, some people start very young, or your own interests that maybe you want to cultivate further. Because when you start caregiving younger, as we mentioned earlier, you're still a lot of times in your life still identity building in a lot of ways. There's still things you want to try you haven't had the opportunity to do yet, as opposed to caregivers who start when they're retired. So how do you try to explore these different pieces of yourself outside of care? And when you think about that, it's not only identifying those pieces, but then how logistically can I keep that a part of my life?